What is up everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be reacting to another video that one of you has requested, which is 8 things you didn't know about NASCAR. I am absolutely loving getting through all of these NASCAR videos, so I'm very excited to get into today's reaction. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe. Over half of you that are watching my videos aren't subscribed. It's just down there, it takes 2 seconds. Go do it. Okay, let's get into it.
Over time, I've noticed that a good chunk of my subscribers have either never watched a NASCAR race or have just started getting into the sport. And with the quarantine finally being partially lifted this week, and NASCAR being the first American sport to resume competition, albeit with no fans in attendance, there's going to be an influx of new viewers checking into NASCAR for the first time. So I thought it might be a good idea to explain what exactly the hell is going on here for newcomers. NASCAR is actually a lot like baseball or golf. The more you know about it, the more interesting it becomes. But the less you know about it, the more ridiculous it seems. So with information at a premium, here are 8 things that you probably didn't know about NASCAR. First off, NASCAR was started by state and federal criminals. Although NASCAR's founder Bill France was never a rum runner himself, NASCAR's early rosters from the late 40s and early 50s were filled with convicts and guys who just never got caught. Before and after Prohibition, intoxicating spirits were banned outright in several states in the Southeast. So enterprising young men throughout the South souped up their hot rods so they could outrun the cops when they were on one of their nightly runs.
Oh, I learned about that in the Dale
Earnhardt
Earnhardt video.
And people wanted to know which of their local bootleggers was the best
you guys
driver.
teaching me things.
And so tracks and competitions were organized, and at some point somebody had the bright idea to start selling tickets to these get-togethers, and stock car racing was born. Bill France, a Daytona Beach resident and businessman, as well as a former race car driver himself, saw the growing interest and established the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, NASCAR. And the rest
That's
was
iconic
history.
that it came
While
from
many
criminals.
NASCAR stars had their fair share of run-ins with the law, there was none more famous than the last American hero himself, Junior Johnson. A 50-time winner in NASCAR's top series, Junior Johnson was arrested by federal revenuers in 1956 when he went to fire up his father's still one night. He spent 1 year in federal prison and was eventually pardoned by President Ronald Reagan many years later, although he had begun the appeal process under the Carter administration. But in true bootlegger fashion, if you ever brought this up to Junior while he was still alive, he'd be quick to remind you that he never got caught behind the wheel while he was making one of his runs.
Love
Junior
that.
gained a reputation on the track for being a tough-as-nails driver and an innovative mechanic. So innovative, in fact, that he is widely regarded as one of the most cheatingest figures in all of NASCAR. And that gets me to number 2 on this list. Cheating is not only tolerated by NASCAR fans, but is actually celebrated. I know this comes as a shocker and is at odds with every other sport in existence, but hear me out. Although the sanctioning body of NASCAR is very stringent with its rules, NASCAR fans have always turned a blind eye to cheaters in the sport and actually sing their praises amongst themselves. Teams are allowed to either build their own cars or purchase them from other teams. And even though NASCAR has strict specifications that those cars have to adhere to, there's always a little wiggle room left to exploit. There's an old saying in NASCAR, if you ain't cheating, then you ain't winning. Everybody does it, although they're usually bending the rules or just breaking a rule before it's on the books. Junior Johnson was so prolific in the art of rule dodging that he actually had one of his creations put into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, the Yellow Banana, a '66 Ford Galaxy that was one of the most disgustingly illegal cars in the history of the sport, and got its name due to its shape and its yellow paint job. But if there was ever a mechanic who could best Junior Johnson in the dark arts of stock car cheating, it was Smokey Yunick. With a silly name but a penchant for disregarding the rules at every turn, NASCAR fans became enamored with Smokey's antics. He did anything to get a leg up over the competition, and even to this day this proud tradition of rule bending is still alive in NASCAR. As recently as 2018 during the Flexgate scandal, Stewart-Haas racing cars have manipulated the bracing on the rear window to give way at high speeds to direct more airflow towards the spoiler, an exploit famously found out by NASCAR Reddit. Being as there was no rule in place to brake at the time, NASCAR let the wins by Stewart-Haas stand, but said that anything of the like found going forward would be dealt with harshly, as teams found out the hard way later. Just as important as the team of mechanics are the pit crew members, who service the car during the actual race. These fearless men plucked from the rosters of professional and collegiate athletic programs, braved the chaos of pit road and changed tires and put new fuel in the car, all while making adjustments and repairs as dozens of other cars and teams are all doing the same thing on pit lane.
Crew.
Under ideal conditions, a NASCAR pit crew can change 4 tires, top off fuel, and make adjustments to the car in less than 14 seconds.
I'd put fuel in the car.
And yes, sometimes accidents do occur and they get hurt.
Mind-blowing.
But thanks to safety regulations and the skill of other drivers out there on pit lane, those incidents are few and far between. The pit crew members are the athletes that make the team the best they can be on race day. But what about the guys behind the wheel piloting the race car itself? That gets us to number 4. Yes, the drivers are athletes. It takes a special type of crazy to hop into a metal coffin wearing a fireproof suit and
That's
sling a
very
car
true.
around at 200 miles an hour. But it also takes an insane amount of physical fitness as well. NASCAR drivers can have incredibly long careers. The average successful NASCAR driver will make his first starts in his early 20s and will retire in his mid to late 40s. Some drivers even go beyond this. In 1992, Harry Gant set the record that still stands today as the oldest driver to ever win a NASCAR race at 52 years old. Martin Martin got close in 2009 at age 50, but no driver has challenged the throne since. And to give you some perspective, if the youngest driver to ever win a race, Joey Logano, who got his first win at the age of 19 in 2009, beat Harry Gant's record, we would have to wait until 2043. Current drivers span all age groups and backgrounds. Joey Logano from Connecticut will turn 30 this year. His teammate Ryan Blaney is 26 and hails from Ohio. And one of the best in the business right now, Kevin Harvick from Bakersfield, California, is 44 and has just signed a multi-year contract extension. Hey, maybe he'll be the one to take handsome Harry Gant's crown.
Maybe.
Okay, so we've covered the who, the what, and the why of NASCAR. But as you sit down to watch the race, what should you be keeping your eye on? Yes, there's daring, death-defying moves and beating and banging action happening every so often, but what keeps NASCAR crazies such as myself glued to the TV for the entire duration of the race? Number 6, it's all about strategy.
Heck of a crush,
Most NASCAR races are between 400 and 500 miles long. Some drivers like their crew chief to handle the mental heavy lifting. Others prefer to run at their own pace and just let the crew chief worry about adjustments. Either way, pairing the right drivers with the right crew chief is crucial to ending up in victory lane at the end of the day. But there's one other guy in this conversation that we haven't talked about yet, the spotter. That gets us to number 7. Drivers can't actually see that much inside of their cars. Due to safety regulations, drivers are pretty much bolted into their seats and their head movement is very limited. So to help with this, drivers have spotters that communicate with them constantly, telling them where the other cars are out on the track, if there's a wreck up ahead, or what the leader is up to. These crew members perched high atop the press box are usually family members of the driver or former drivers themselves, who are handpicked based on their ability to communicate effectively with the driver. Tracks come in all shapes and sizes, and some of the lower divisions, NASCAR's minor leagues, even race on dirt. These circuits dot the U.S. landscape from major markets like Atlanta and Las Vegas to small towns tucked away in the southeast like Bristol and Martinsville and everywhere in between.
God, how did
there
you not
are
hit
no
anyone
away
there?
games, so to speak, in NASCAR, but with the vast majority of teams being located in North Carolina, having to pinball across the U.S. is a demanding effort in its own right, as hauler drivers will work around the clock driving a garage on wheels to and from each racetrack during the year. Well, that about wraps it all up. 8 things you might not have known about NASCAR. Hopefully this video has shed some light on this weird traditionally southern motorsport and given you a greater appreciation of these cars going around in differently shaped circles at unreasonably fast speeds. Thanks for watching, I hope you found this video helpful, and until next time, y'all take it easy.
I really enjoyed that video. I would probably give it... I've been like rating all of the videos that I've been watching at the moment. This one, I'd probably give it like... probably a 7.5 out of 10. Reason being, I did enjoy it, but there's like a couple things that like I already knew. So I still learned a few things in there, but obviously like the racing aspect, they're talking about like qualifying, pole position practice, like teams moving to different places and getting there a few days before. A couple of things at the beginning, like I said, I learned in the other video that I watched. So that was quite interesting. More and more videos you guys are suggesting, I am now like watching them and being like, oh, I know this, I know that, I know that, which is very good. So yeah, it's currently Sunday right now. So the Daytona 500 was supposed to be today, but obviously because of the weather, it's been moved. So I think it's happening tomorrow if the weather is okay. But I'm looking forward to watching the race. And I will have to update you all on my first full race of NASCAR. I'm so excited. But yeah, if you wanted to check out any of my other socials, they are all linked down below. Do subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I hope you enjoyed today's reaction. I will see you for the next one. Bye.